So I was asking myself, what happens after generative AI? So we all know how to generate images and movies and games, whatever in AI. But what's next? What else can we do? So I thought I would start to explore how I could add AI into my creative production process. So how can I automate or enhance my creative processes? And that's why I created this little extension called MoodAI. Now, MoodAI, in essence, is a mood board tool or a mood board pinning tool that is boosted with AI to better help you understand what it is about your moods and content that you've added to your mood board, and it will give you suggestions on how to improve it. So in this example, I'm going to go to the Hypebeast website, and let's say that I'm interested in imagery that is architectural and landscape based. So there's a beautiful image here. What I'm going to do is I'm simply going to right click and I'm going to add it to my mood board, and it's an image, so I'll add it as an image. I also like this image. They are very similar. So if I was to collect a mood around this thematic, I would add this to my mood board as well. And then there's another one here, add image. Now it's not just images that you can add to MoodAI. Let's say you're a copywriter and you like the language of some of this writing. So we can select this and we can add this text and typography. Perhaps also I like the tone of voice of this, and I'll add it to that. And okay, so now I have a number of elements that I've added to my mood board. And as you can see up here, it's a Google Chrome extension. So I can access it through my browser. It's personalized, it's safe, it's secure. It's only running on my machine. It's not running anywhere else. I don't need a username. I don't need a password. I don't need to sign up to Pinterest or whatever. So let's take a look at what's called the pop-up. So here in the pop-up, this is your easy access tool. You can see which images that you've added, and you can also see which copy that you've added. But really what you want to do is you want to go straight to the mood board. Right, so let's take a very quick look at the interface. MoodAI, I'm calling it V0.1. It might never get beyond 0.1, who knows? But you can reload the tool. You can export everything on this page as a JSON file. You can clear the board. If you like, you can change it to a darker or to a lighter design, and you can access your options. But let's take a quick look at what else is going on. I can download all the images, right? So I can download all the images and I can download it to my machine. I can download all the copy that I've selected over here. And also I can export all my selections as a PDF. So let's say I need to use it somewhere, I need to send it to somebody else. So very useful. Now, moving on. What it's done, the first thing that AI has done is had a look at my selection, and there's often be some common thematics. So luxury living, modern architecture. And this is a really easy way to create almost like a word cloud or key tags that describe what I'm trying to achieve. But let's take a look at the individual images. What's really fun about this is the first thing that does, it actually describes the mood. So it uses the AI to describe what mood this image is evoking, which is really handy if you want to look for commonalities and contrasts. The other thing it does is that it actually describes the image. So it'll describe, what the image is. So for example, there's a modern architectural structure elevated on stilts featuring wooden slatted facade, etc. The reason why this is handy is that it helps you to articulate what it is that you like about that image, but also, think of this as a tool that's part of a wider AI production process or a wider AI-based efficiency. Obviously, what would be incredible is if you can turn the mood image copy and the mood image description into a prompt, which you can. You click on Save as Prompt, and it'll copy this description as copy, which you can then stick into another tool. Now, whether you go back to ChatGPT or Midjourney, whatever other tool that you like, you can then use to generate more images of an ilk. I can also refresh this. I can download the image, just the individual image, and I can also delete this image. The other thing is that there are some slight variations possibly in your imagery, so that these are the descriptive tags for this particular image. And what we also have here is a handy color palette. So these are the core colors within the image. So if you're looking for commonalities and contrasts also in the color palettes, then you have that. Going back to copy, because if you remember, I also selected some type. I selected this headline. And in the same way that the AI creates a summary of the image, it also creates a summary and an interpretation of the copy. So there is a tone summary as well. So it explains what the brand voice is that's being used in that particular headline or body copy. And again, it's very powerful, very useful for copywriters that are trying to understand what it is about a particular bit of tonality. You can add as much copy in. It doesn't have to be a headline. It could also be longer copy excerpts. So, and again, similar to the imagery, we have a summary through the key tags, and we can always click through to the source. Taking a step further, ultimately this is a mood board tool, but maybe also we can start to use it to kind of explore what else is possible. So what we have here are three core blocks. They're called commonality, contrast and opportunity, and trend anchoring. So on the commonality, what it does is that it looks at all the imagery and all the copy and finds what the commonality is. So if you look for that red thread, you've got over there. The interesting bit, which actually sparks some new thinking, is this section called contrast and opportunity. So this is almost kind of like having like an art director or creative director in your pocket that challenge you to think, well, you know, if that's the similarity, how can you contrast that? How can you unlock new opportunities? And then finally, trend anchoring. You know, everything is moving at the speed of culture at the moment. A lot of work is anchored in trends, or if you'd like to anchor your work in trends, then you can. So what this does is look at the imagery and the content you've selected and is connecting it to trends that the AI knows from the wider world. In this case, a modern architecture aligns with the growing trend of biophilic designs. I'll have to look up what biophilic means. If you know what biophilic designs means, you know, drop a comment. And then finally, the last block is what's called creative provocations. And again, think of this almost like as a mini strategist in your pocket, which is challenging you to think about, well, what else can you do? Yes, you've got beautiful images and beautiful copy, but what else can you do? So for example, a contrast injection. Well, imagine a brutalist structure in a desert landscape where luxury meets rawness. What does that narrative feel like? Or an angle shift. How do you change the angle? An audience flip. You know, if these imageries, if those images are targeting eco-conscious millennials, how about reimagining luxury homes, sustainable, self-sufficient ecosystems? Or a medium jump, change the medium. Or a tonal lamp, or a wild card. You know, wild card, envisage a futuristic luxury home that defies gravity. How would architecture adapt to this concept? And again, these provocations you can copy to your clipboard and you can use them as prompts and other tools. So obviously, the imagery that I've chosen, they were very architecturally based. So all the contrasts and the opportunities and the provocations are all around architecture. But if you had imagery around, you know, movies, kids' toys, whatever, the AI would flex and reflect the subject matter that you're talking about. Finally, a disclaimer, you know, I will make this tool available for people to download, have some fun, play with it, see if it opens up the aperture for yourself around what is possible beyond generative AI. But as the disclaimer says, it's as available. Some of the content could be wrong, you know, so use your common sense, use your tastemaker skills. You should have your own baked in taste to understand if what the tool is giving back is right for you or right for your project. But there we go. So that is my first exploration into using AI in a way that's beyond generative AI, trying to use it to streamline, automate, improve, enhance, elevate, whatever word you like to use, my own creative process. And I hope it's the first of many tools and platforms that I'll be creating, because this is a very interesting space to play in and I'm enjoying it. So if you like, play with it, download it, tell a friend, and maybe come back and see what else is being released in the next couple of weeks or months.